Well, good morning, LaDon. Good morning, Bahamas. It's a TGIF Friday, and of course, this morning, we're giving you your first look at traffic, a beautiful shot there of the East-West Highway. This morning, I'm speaking with Sergeant Crestonia Johnson from the Royal Bahamas Police Force Traffic Division, who's speaking with us first about overnight traffic. Good morning, Officer Johnson.
A pleasant good morning to you and a pleasant good morning, Bahamas. Overnight, we've had 7 traffic accidents, 2 involving injury and 4 involving damages. Yesterday, we had 12 persons that were hospitalized. Unfortunately, one of those persons succumbed to their injury.
Well, thank you for that update. Again, one of those things that we're speaking about this morning, we spoke about it earlier. Now, of course, you're a very approachable person and an officer, but what do motorists need to know if they do happen to be pulled over by a traffic officer? What are some of those do's and don'ts?
Okay. Well, first of all, let me just say that officers can pull you over for numerous reasons. Okay. So sometimes just for a basic vehicle check or name check, or if not, for a citation. If you are stopped for a citation, the officer is going to inform you of the infraction that you committed. Once you're informed of the infraction that you committed, we require you to do just basically 2 things. One, this is to submit all the documents that is required for identification purposes. That is your driver's license, that is the certificate of title for your vehicle, and that is the vehicle's insurance. Once you have those documents, and we're able now to conduct whatever it is we need to do, whether it be a name check, whether it be a plate check, or whether it is to issue a citation. And the second thing is to stay calm and just comply with whatever instruction you're given by the police officer.
Now, I've noticed on several online videos during those sessions, some people tend to do a lot of things. They have their cell phones on recording, they have music playing. Is that something that is allowed by local officials?
No, it's not. For the most part, we're asking motorists as much as possible to continue to comply with officers. Now, there are times when the situation begins to get heated, but as professionals, police officers are trained to handle these type of situations. Like I said, it's usually when the person is not calm. Listen, even when I'm off and a police officer is to beckon my vehicle to stop, my heartbeat goes up. It goes up. So I understand when a regular citizen is stopped, that sometimes it's just not, that's caught off guard, they're afraid. So we understand that it's going on. So we're just asking you to, as much as possible, to cooperate with police officers so they can do what they have to do, and then we can move on from that particular situation.
And on that same note as well, I noticed that sometimes when persons are pulled over by police, they've made the decision, you know what, I'm not going to pull over in a dark area, I'm going to drive by the closest station. Is that advisable?
That's not advisable. The police vehicles, they're outfitted with lights. So they have, if they need be, if we need additional lighting, they have lights to provide additional lighting for that particular area. For as much as possible, once beckons using either the siren or the horn of the police vehicle to pull on the side, please do so immediately. As long as there's no ditch on the side of the road where your vehicle is going to fall over or anything along that line, and officers are trained to look out for these type of road conditions. If this is the case, they're going to say, okay, driver, on their speaker, pull forward, or driver, pull over. Just listen to the instruction as much as possible and try to carry it out.
Now, we've talked about what should happen. What if someone decides that they're not going to pull over and they decide, in fact, they are going to drive to the nearest police station? Is there a legal ramification there?
Yes, it is. The offense is failing to stop on the request of a police officer, and that is a fine. And for situations like that, we want to, as much as possible, discourage those. And you usually find that when drivers do not have those documentation on them, like their driver's license, insurance, or if the vehicle doesn't belong to them, that is when we have these persons not stopping and they speed off. There are times when persons are, like I said, they panic. So we understand those situations, but those where drivers try to speed off and evading police officers, that is an offense. So as much as possible, you want to comply as soon as possible, or comply once given the instruction.
And then finally, before we wrap up today, yesterday you alluded to the fact that apparently there seems to be a proliferation of incidents on the highway. I think that's the one, JFK. Now, what do motorists need to know when driving along strips like this? Obviously, many drivers are moving at a high speed. And so what is the speed limit on highways like this?
So be reminded that the speed limit for the entire in Providence, even the Bahamas, is 45 miles per hour. On majority of these highways, you have the signs posted. So you see that in the middle. If you're somewhere in the middle of the highway, you're going to see that sign at 45 miles per hour. However, the majority of our highway areas or dual carriage areas, they are governed by roundabouts. So as you get closer to the roundabout, you're now going to see that sign shift down to 30 miles per hour. And as you get closer to the roundabout, again, it's going to be 25 miles per hour because it's now trying to slow you down in order to get you to go into that bottleneck at the roundabout in order for you to go whichever way it is that you want to go. So reminding drivers that the 45 mile per hour speed limit zone is not for the entire length of that of the highway. It's simply just for that middle portion, and if you're driving, you want to ask you to drive with added care and caution, especially on days like today when the road is wet. It's going to affect your tire friction, and it's going to affect your brakes. So you're asking as many motorists as possible to please check your tires, check your windshield wipers, make sure your vehicle is in good condition, in order to be on the road, especially in these type of road conditions.
Now, I just love the way you worded that because, again, no disrespect, but, one would assume maybe a woman doesn't know all this stuff, but you're not just any woman. You're a police officer. And I was always curious to ask you, what motivated you to actually join the police force?
Well, as a young person, I have my father is Superintendent Roosevelt Curry. He is a police officer, and I came up in a disciplined home. So just following in his footsteps, my sister and I, we joined the Royal Bahamas Police Force a year after each other, and here we are now, just following in Daddy's footsteps.
Well, and what advice do you have to those other little girls around the country who may be thinking about joining the force?
Well, you can just look at me, for example. I'm not only a sergeant in the Royal Bahamas Police Force and an administrator, I'm also a female cyclist. I'm also a scenes of crime technician. I'm now training to be a draftsman. I'm also in school. I have one more year left in law school. The possibilities are endless. There's nothing that you cannot achieve. Once you put God first, all things are possible.
Well, you heard it first right here from our very own Cresenia Johnson from the Royal Bahamas Police Force, reporting your look at traffic on this beautiful but wet Friday morning. For the morning edition, Lloyd Allen, ZNS Network News.